Well, hi everyone. Hi everyone, and greetings from Northern Michigan. This is Bob the Science Guy. All good things must come to an end, and we have come to the final episode of my series on my interview with Ranty, formerly Ranty Flat Earth. Now, we've had a lot of really interesting insights during this week. Specifically, flat earthers only watch flat earth videos. They never look at the debunking videos to find out where those videos went wrong. The people that actually are the leaders of the flat earth community, the flurf daddies or papa flurfs as some call them, really don't believe in the flat earth themselves. They're using this for their own personal gain. And we've looked into the conspiratorial mindset. Now, my comments are pretty much at an end. Now, during the entire interview with Ranty, there was a panel of experts on my Discord server. Now, they haven't really interjected very much, but now I'm going to turn it over to them. These are very interesting people. They're people that are in the construction trades, that are mechanical engineers, attorneys that have actually spent time in Antarctica. And they had some very insightful questions. So let's cue up the music and get to the panel. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and let the folks that are in chat right now ask a couple of questions for you. If you get short on time, Ranty, or you get tired or anything, I know it's a lot later there in the UK. Just let me know, and what we'll do is we'll go ahead and shut her down. But I thought I'd give them just a couple of minutes to have a chat with you, and I put the link to the Discord in there. And I'm going to get quiet here for a minute and let you talk to some of these folks that are in here.
Okay.
Hey, to Randy, I'm certainly glad that you finally did the science the way that science should be done. See how what we were trying to tell you all along, we weren't lying to you. It's just as you just discussed with Bob. So I'm happy to see you finally joined our side and understand we weren't trying to conspiracy against you.
See, what would happen is I rarely got into debates with people unless it was on something to do with optics. And I had a very good understanding of being able to argue points with globers on optics. So, it was, for me, I didn't get involved in the gravity side of stuff or the ISS or the moon landings and things like that. But if a flat earther came in and got a good spanking, let's say on the moon landings, let's say Jem Panda came in and said, okay, I brought this proof for the moon landings. Somebody else got a pretty good hiding, right? What would happen is, after Jem Panda left, the rest of the community would put their arm around the guy that got a good spanking and said, don't worry, he was wrong about this, he was wrong about that. And within an hour, they'd have brought the guy back around again and said, no, you were right, you debate. and that's what happens. That's what continues to happen. If anyone saw the debate last night on Conspiracy Cat's channel, I think I won that debate. And what will happen is that the person that lost Brian's logic will go back to the Flat Earth debate team, and the Flat Earth debate team will throw their arms around him and tell him how he won. And that's what will then be presented over the next week, on the Flat Earth debates, about how Brian beat Ranty in an argument, discussion, which clearly didn't happen. But this is what they do. So you might be right, but the simple fact is there's a community there that's ready to grab a hold of that person and tell them, no, you were right, they were wrong.
Well, the thing that jumps into what I think straight away when you discuss this, talk about your community, is it's more like a cult or a sect. It's not about the truth, it's about the truth that they have decided is true. Nothing else is important or should be discussed. And if someone stray outside of the guidelines of what you should be saying, what you should be thinking, they get death threats. And I'm just glad you didn't drink the Kool-Aid there, boy.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing with me is I was always asking questions, and I was always to be fair, I mean, when I look back, I was kind of culted. I was deep inside of that, but I always had a rope there that I was willing to climb out of at every step of the way. The rope was always around my waist, ready to be pulled out if I found something that changed my beliefs. Whereas I think that most of the other people that are inside the community have cut off that rope. So they're not willing to even entertain anything that isn't a flat earth proof. And it doesn't matter how many times you talk to them or provide them information, they won't accept it. Whereas I was just a little bit different, even though I was in that cult and I was well into the cult, I mean, a serious flat earther, I still had that ability that, to escape it if I found the right proof. And a lot of people have said to me, I can't believe you've switched sides on just one photograph, because I don't think they're getting the point. I don't think they understand the gravity of that point. The point being that one photograph that was replicated by Bev proves 100% that there's drop in my location, which proves a globe. And the rest of everything, this argument about gravity and the shape of the Earth, is now confirmed to me just on this one image. So all the arguments about everything else just mean nothing to me now. But they don't have the ability to do that. They can't process that everyone has the key, I suppose. My key was, this photograph. But they don't understand what this photograph shows or is going to prove.
Well, if you have based everything you believe on one thing, and that is that Earth is flat, and it's the foundation of your belief system. And if that crumbles, you really can't hold on to it. But what I have found talking to people that are flat earthers is, it doesn't matter if you show them, you can show them water, but they won't drink. They will thirst to death, at the water edge. And well, I'm just glad you're out of it. Welcome to this side of the community.
Yeah, it's I'm glad to be out of it too. I just wish that I could get my message out to a lot of the other flat earthers, and I wish that the flat Earth community as a whole, the people that make content, actually address this in a proper way. But I know they won't, because they can't. Because for them to address it, they are essentially admitting that the Earth's a globe. Because there's no way that they can come up to a different conclusion. They can't fudge it. They can't hide from it. They can't run from it. This image is so devastating. This is why there has never been a civil debate or a civil response to this, because they can't.
Well, a picture of the ISS or a picture from the ISS is also devastating. But if you don't want to admit that it is devastating, you can spin it however you want to. You can tell people it's CGI or it's manipulated, or you can make up your own math in the way. I'm just saying, good luck getting your message out there, because you're on our side now, and you're gonna be abused, and you're gonna be told, well, all kind of stuff, from being interested in kids to getting death threats. That's just the nature of being on this side.
I've already had the death threats, so that's already happened. So, but as for me, right, the ISS, I'm never going to go to the ISS. I'm never going to be able to go to space. But one thing I can do is go to that location and see it for myself.
Well, that's the thing that I find most interesting, is that it seems like flat earthers or people that are into conspiracy needs to see something for themselves. And let's be honest, 99% of things that is in the world you're never going to see. Have you been to Africa? I haven't been to Africa, but I'm not going to deny the existence of Africa just because I haven't been there. It's an argument that I find very flawed. I haven't been to the bottom of the sea either, and I'm probably never going to be there. But I believe there's a bottom. So that's the problem with flat Earth in itself. There is plenty of evidence that shows that the Earth isn't flat, but if you have to see every type of evidence with your own eyes, I haven't seen a volcano go off either. but I do believe they do sometimes.
Well, I've seen volcanoes go off when I was up in Alaska. I've scraped the ash off of my cars. I still have my doubts about
Amen
the
there,
existence of Norway, though,
Yeah,
because I've never been there.
Never been to Norway. Must
I've
be
never
fake.
been. Yeah, I've never been to Norway,
I
but I've
argue
got,
with these,
you know,
people online about Antarctica. It
Yeah.
doesn't exist. It's a nice wall. It's like, dude, I've been there. It's there. It's
Yeah.
what they say it is. It's real. I mean, come on.
you know, Ranty, I'm going to be honest with you.
It's
Oh, go ahead.
amazing.
Sorry, Joe.
You're right. It's cult thinking. I mean, just look at American politics, right? You watch a debate and you'll have two guys. And, depending upon who you support, you're going to say he won the debate, regardless of the person's performance. It's the same thing here. I mean, I'm sure Ranty, I saw a little bit of that debate last night or whenever it was, and I thought Ranty cleaned his clock, but, I'm sure
I tend to agree with
people on
you.
the other
It's
side
the,
are going to think he was terrible.
it's the
way
pigeons
cult thinking
playing
works.
chess syndrome. And, when you have pigeons that play chess, they're always going to think that they won, and they
That's
didn't.
that. That's all I needed to say. Congratulations to Ranty for.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Now, Ranty,
Joe doesn't hear you. He has some problems sometimes, so he can't hear everyone.
I figured that
I
out.
can hear you.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah,
hear
I
Dr.
figured
Bob.
that out.
He's running an Apple product, so that explains everything. It's an Apple product.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Ranty,
that,
let me ask you a direct
folks
question
forget God.
because somebody asked this in chat. Earthrise asked this in chat, and I think it's a really good question. Do you believe the ISS is real and the photographs from the ISS are real now?
I haven't even thought about it.
What do you mean you haven't thought about it?
I haven't given it any consideration at all.
What about weather satellites and photos of the Earth, photos of the moon landing? Do they all make?
Yeah, I'm
Do you
just
look
happy
at
to.
it- Do you
I'm
look
just
at
happy
them in a
to
new
accept
light?
it because I never was. I was never against those ideas in the first place. That argument to me never really hit home. I was never really interested in that. The only thing I was ever interested in is what I can see here on where we live.
So, Randy, if you didn't have a problem with the argument, and you look right in the moonshots or the shots from the ISS, you see a spherical planet.
Mm-hmm.
Where's
and I was ambiguous to it. I didn't have a passion for a belief whether it was up there or it wasn't. I just enjoyed listening to other people debating it. I kind of took myself away from that situation and let other people discuss it. And I just listened to both sides and didn't have an opinion of it of myself. I wasn't bothered. To me, I wasn't fussed either way. I didn't have a belief system in that. That was irrelevant to me.
Well, that's interesting. I'm gonna sit down and share something with you that I'm not sure I should, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyhow. When you first came over to the Globe Earth, I actually had a chat with a couple of other debunkers, and I asked them, do you think this guy's for real, or is this just a ploy? And the opinion that I got from it was, yes, it is for real. And the reason that it happened now, as opposed to with this Mount San Jacinto observation or the ISS or the moon landings or the mirror of other evidence that has been presented in this debate for the last couple of years, is that you had to come to the correct idea yourself rather than be corrected. Would you say that that's a fair thing to say? This had to be your idea. It had to be something that struck home to you before you would accept it?
Yeah, I believe it is. And I would like to think that if I'd still been hosting the show and I'd seen this image, that I would have still brought it to the community and I'd have still been demanding answers. And I might still be in this situation right now where I've switched sides had I still been running the show. So I'd have liked to think that would have been the way that it had planned out. On the other side of the coin, don't forget I stepped away from my channel back in about August of last year, and I gave it over to Brandon to run for what was going to be just a couple of months or so. And then after a few
How'd that
weeks,
work out for you there, Slick?
Well, it was good. It was good because just taking myself away and letting my brain have a rest for a time, because all I'd thought about was, flat Earth and doing these shows for years. So to just completely remove myself from that and have very little input at all, just step away, it became very clear to me that after I'd just been away for just a few weeks that I didn't have a passion to come back, and I wanted Brandon to take over. So I asked him, would he be willing to take over the show until the new year? And he said he would. And then after about another month, I said to him, do you want to take it over full time? Because even then I was quite sure that I didn't want to come back to do those shows. So I'd kind of already, and I'm going to say, retired from the community as such, even though I sort of still hung around here and there. I had very little input in anything or took part in anything at all. So just being away from that whole situation and being able to go out and speak to other people, socialize, and do different things, get back to work.
Did you have a personal crisis of any kind when you came to the realization that this was wrong?
Yeah, I think. But then again, it was very easy once I'd appreciated the evidence. And it was pretty easy then for me to understand that I'd been wrong. So it was,
Well, then let's ask you the hard question. All right, and this came from the chat. The question was, do you believe the Earth is a globe, or do you know it's a globe? And I'm going to modify that a little bit. I'm going to say, is there anything in light of the evidence that you've seen in this photograph of Blackpool, is there anything that would convince you that the Earth is indeed flat?
No.
Okay.
No.
So I don't flat Earth is gone then.
Yeah, it's gone, because there's no way. I mean, it hadn't been just one image. I mean, that's the other thing. It was Bev. Bev went back and repeated the observation, and he went on testimony to say that, no, that is what it always looks like. And because he films from that location himself, he's telling the community, and including myself, and providing images that show the exact same photography as this other guy did. Obviously, the other guy had a better camera with a better backdrop, with the mountains being all lit up and what have you.
That was an awesome shot.
But he still validated the observation, and from that point on, there's no going back, because if that's what it looks like all the time from there, then it can't have been just a one-off. It has to be that. It has to be a globe. It has to be dropped. It can't be flat.
Do you think it would be reasonable? Do you think I could persuade you if I put out a video that conclusively demonstrated, in my mind at least, that yes, that happened to be a curved area of the Earth, but it's a local event and the rest of it's flat? It's just a dimple on the flat Earth.
No, because Blackpool that's. But
I'm very sincere though.
It doesn't matter. Blackpool that's in the middle is surrounded by water, right? Because it has that tower. If I'm looking at the tower, right next to the tower is a gigantic ocean, and behind it is the mountains. So those mountains on a plane would be, the bottoms of them at least, would be underwater, and that's ridiculous to even think about it. I mean, it just couldn't happen on a flat plane. It's impossible.
What's the most ridiculous excuse you've heard so far for all this? Trying to claim. Now we've got the manipulation of the photograph by looking at the left corner of it. We've got the distance to the horizon has been put out as saying, well, look, we see too far to the horizon, therefore Earth is flat. Is there anything more ridiculous than that you've heard?
I've been bought off, and the image is a black swan. I've heard that from Nathan Oakley's show, that the image is now a black swan. They're claiming it as a flat Earth proof. I mean, talk about, how do you hijack a flat Earth killer observation? Well, what he's done is he's gone totally the opposite way and told his audience that actually, no, this is a new black swan, right? So he has totally convinced his audience that it's now another black swan, like the black swan image, right? So in their mind now, whenever they hear this, that Ranty's changed sides, they're going to be hearing Nathan Oakley say it's a black swan.
Excellent.
So, but this is like the proof that it's a cult. It's a sect. If you can take a picture and then twist it in your mind of your followers to prove what you wanted to prove when it clearly doesn't prove that, that's a cult. That's a sect. That that's belief. Beyond evidence. That's faith.
There are some nasty trolls on the flat Earth side that do say a lot of nasty stuff.
Yeah.
But then again, you also get some of the globers that are the same. So I mean, you can't just tar one side and not the other, but there are people definitely that are in this just for the argument, just for the insults, just for the what kind of how badly can they make someone feel today by what they're going to say.
Yeah.
But I've never seen a stream with a Glober where he's have his audience sit and do that kind of stuff without someone saying you're being nasty. Not the same kind of stuff where you're calling people kitty lovers and you want to kill them and stuff like that. That is exclusive to the flat Earth as far as I've seen. I just want to point that out.
Well, we've had people on this stream that came in as quote unquote guests, and they came in to present the flat Earth point of view. And everybody that's out here will tell you that one of our rules on this particular channel is that people are treated with respect. You don't make personal attacks. You can attack their ideas within the reach of decency, but you don't attack a person. And we've never really done that here. That's just not our style. And I haven't seen a whole lot. I haven't seen a whole lot of globe Earth places. Yeah, so globe Earth places or flat Earth places tend to be a lot more in your face and hostile. Now there are a couple of globe channels that ding people and call them idiots, and granted, but that's not my style. It's not Wolfie's style. It's not the style of the type of people like Katz and Simon Dan. We don't just call people stupid to call them stupid, even if they do stupid things.
I wasn't talking about stupid. I'm talking about all these slurs that is being used. And
we don't go for that. You're right. That's coming from the flat Earth side, Bjorn.
Yes,
that's clearly coming from the flat Earth side, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah, but you'll find that a lot of the flat Earth people that put content out are actually well-adjusted people in the real world, like you were saying before, Bob. And the clever.
Yeah, but they've got a hole in their personality. That's the thing. They have a hole in their logic and critical thinking and reasoning, and that hole is the rabbit hole that conspiracies lie at the bottom of.
You're telling us that Nathan Oakley's explicit rape fantasist, shouty guy is actually just an act he puts on for the channel? I got that impression a couple of times, but that's one heck of an act to put on.
Yeah.
I stopped dealing with Nathan Oakley because I honestly think that he has anger issues, and if I rip him a new one, I wonder who he's going to take it out on. And that's why
Probably
I don't
a 2-year-old.
Well, it's
it's
not like he's done it. Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. Yeah.
Well, my opinion is that Nathan now is just simply protecting his income, because having spoken to, he was a delivery driver, right? So that was his job, and he had to work long hours to do that. Whereas starting off this, and I remember when he was really struggling, and I convinced him to set a Patreon up because he wasn't sure whether or not, because for 3 months or so he'd been shut out of his channel from uploading streams and stuff and doing his live debates. And I said, well, why don't you set a Patreon up? And he did, and he was getting something like £700 or £800 each month for that, which allowed him to actually then put more effort into his channel and then grew it up and got it to where it is now. But if you look at what's happening, his channel is struggling so bad for finance. You don't see anybody super chatting anymore. He does have members only streams, which has really probably not helped. And his patronage just dropped right through the floor too. So I think people are are seeing this for what it is, and he's in his dying throes now because the amount of content that he needed this. He needed something to get his teeth into, something that he could put content out with, and I think he's done something ridiculous, like 20 videos in a week, and he's trying everything so that he can keep this going, keep his income coming in, and he will lie about what's presented to do that. And at that point, you then realize that he isn't a truther, because a truther wouldn't do that. He would accept it, tell his audience, move on, get a job again, go back doing a normal 9-to-5 job, and start providing for his family. So yeah, so I think that's
lying. Did you see what Riley was saying about that whole photograph? All the beautiful detail on all those mountains and the crisp silhouette of the roller coaster and the tower at Blackpool. Riley zoomed in on a little tiny white smudge on top of a hill in the background and said, look, that right there is this little wind turbine down here. And I thought it'd be interesting to have a look at that little wind turbine down there and find out where it would appear if Earth was actually flat. So I went looking for it. I've just made a video about that, which I'm going to upload later tonight, but I've put into VC text a Google Earth screenshot from way further north than that turbine, looking at a different turbine, which is on a hilltop, with a ruler from there to the observation point, which goes right through where he said the turbine in the picture was. Yeah,
but that's not the one. I've already discounted that. So if you're going to release a video about that one, it's the wrong one. Actually, Ruhif and I have come to the same consensus that he did actually pick the right turbine. The problem is it doesn't help his cause at all.
No.
in fact, it proves the globe, actually.
Okay, so Ranty, what are you gonna, what's the first thing you're gonna do when you get that first government shill check?
Well, I'd like to buy a new car, new house, new wife.
All right, so you want to
buy a typewriter.
Okay, so you don't want to go to Disneyland or anything?
No, I don't fancy that. No,
right.
I think to be honest, I actually just want to have a relaxing time. I'm not too fussed about the fancy stuff. So if you can get me in on the low end, I'm happy to just sneak in on the low end of the.
Well,
NASA
Wolfie and I, of course, are
check.
government shill 14, step 2s. I'm a step 3 actually because I do the flight physicals. For the astronauts.
Could I get in on a step 1?
No. We're going to bring you. You've made quite a splash, so we're going to bring you in on a government shill 6, step 3. All right.
Oh, perfect.
So you should do pretty well with that.
If you can afford a new wife, Ranty, you're overpaid.
Well, guys, thank you very much for spending this week with me. It's been an interesting series. I've enjoyed making it. It was an absolute pleasure having an hour or two with Ranty and gaining some personal insight into the Flat Earth community. I hope that you've come away from this with a better understanding of Flat Earthers. So this is Bob the Science Guy signing out from Northern Michigan. Thank you very much for stopping by. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down there. It's very important to support this channel. So until next time, take care and stay well.
Mama, please make them hear me, or I can't teach them anymore. This rabbit hole's too deep for me. Feel my brain getting real sore.